Hey everybody, my name is Dave. This is my wife Nikki,
Hey everyone.
and welcome to our YouTube channel, Dave and Nikki Podcast, where we discuss all kinds of relationship topics, and we're going to be giving our opinions and faith-based viewpoints on that.
So today we're going to discuss the Real Housewife of Potomac, Michael and Ashley Darby, and their decision to split. So I'll go with some facts. So Ashley and Michael, they were married about 8 years. Ashley is 33 years old and Michael is 63. They have 2 kids together. I'm not really sure if he has more kids. So she did an interview on Bravo, and she was basically saying that people are going to speculate on why they're divorcing, such as oversharing on TV because they had a TV show, the cultural differences because she's mixed and he's Caucasian, cheating allegations, age gap.
Okay, so that's like a part of the statement that she gave Bravo, right?
Yes.
Okay, I mean we're going to post that right here.
So she goes on to say that maybe it's not one of those things, maybe the combination of things, but right now they're at like different points in their life. They're growing apart, and in order for them to achieve happiness and fulfillment in their life, they can't do it together, and they're just gonna go their separate ways.
Oh boy. So
But
there. So is it divorce or is it separation?
right now they say separation, but maybe.
Yeah, 9 times out of 10 it's gonna lead to divorce. Yeah. So what we're gonna be talking about today?
So with that, what are you think are your thoughts on separation, divorce during?
Well, from my understanding, I would say the two reasons for divorce would have to be abandonment and adultery.
So your thoughts on divorce is we should people should get divorced if it's not working out and not happy,
I mean,
or
it's technically it's not even about happiness. I mean, let's be real, because we're gonna be if it's going off of emotions, your emotions change from one moment to the next. Like you can be happy now, and then 2 seconds later you'd be like, "Oh, I don't like you." But what is the root of it? You know, like
so you said abandonment was one,
yeah.
and what was the other one?
The other one was adultery.
Adultery, so cheating.
It's back exactly.
So
Exactly.
if they were in this case, they were cheating allegations.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess she does, if the allegations are true,
Mm-hmm.
she does have grounds biblically
Yeah, she does.
for divorce.
However, in her statement, she did say that people are gonna assume and have speculations that cheating was involved. So that, to me, that tells me that if there was cheating involved, she's not saying it. And if there wasn't cheating involved, that's what she's more leaning towards. Like, oh, there wasn't cheating involved, so don't speculate it. We just growing our separate ways, like basically.
I think I didn't watch the whole show,
Mm-hmm.
like all the seasons, but
Yeah.
I think I watch a little. I watch a little bit of it, and I watch enough, and I think there were like a lot of like
Moments where that happened. Where you was
it's
like,
not confirmed, it's alleged that but she didn't leave him dead.
yeah.
So she sometimes when there's a cheating allegation or proof of cheating,
Mm-hmm.
and some people they want to stick by their man, or the men want to stick by their woman,
Uh-huh.
and they want to work it out and
Try to prove the whole world wrong. Like
right,
we can make this work.
right, so they want to stay longer in it.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, for me, I think that's difficult. I think that's difficult to look past, because that's like ultimate betrayal, kind of, right?
Yeah.
So you, after this betrayal, it takes a strong person, I should say, for completely forgive. We're always asked to forgive, others as we would want our trespasses to be forgiven. But is a real big person,
Yeah.
mature person,
Yeah.
a real,
Yeah.
believer, strong
Yeah.
person to say, okay, I'm gonna forgive you, and not nag the person, because you can one thing to say I forgive you,
Okay.
and keep it in the past and move forward or forgive you, but every other day I'm gonna say, and you cheated,
Exactly.
and you did
Exactly.
this. So
But
it's
I see. This is the thing, though. It does talk about, the Bible does talks about forgiveness and how we should forgive others. However, when it comes to adultery, you're supposed to forgive that person, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to continue to stay in that
yeah.
situation. Like, that's one of the rules. Like, you can be like, okay, he cheated on me. Now, there are some people out there that
Mhm.
say you can't get divorced for no reason. I don't care what it is. I don't subscribe to that
Okay.
understanding, because to me that means that you can basically be walked all on
Mhm.
over, and I'm like, no, I don't think that's true. So, but the thing is that you shouldn't be able to have to stay in a situation where you're consistently being cheated on, or where the person ultimately abandons you. And that's another thing too. Like,
Yeah.
what is
Just
abandonment?
abuse, right?
Is that, yeah, abuse? But what is abandonment? You can understand?
Yeah, like you,
Like,
somebody, I was listening to some other lady's case of her, two ladies, I not really know, but I heard their story and their husband just left.
yeah,
Like for one left for probably like a year. She didn't
that's
know from
abandonment.
him. Right. That's
That's
what I'm saying.
abandonment. Yeah.
So you can't continue to be married to
Yeah,
that person because
exactly.
you don't know if they're dead. You don't know
Exactly.
what's going on.
But some people will be like, "Oh, abandonment. Oh, he left me for an hour. So
No,
he
that's
left when we had an argument. That means
no,
he abandoned." I'm
no.
not talking about those kind of situations. But the situations like you said, like that is crazy. You leave for a whole year.
Hmm.
That's no.
So for them, I for this case with Ashley and Michael, she stated happiness,
Okay.
right? Like
Yeah.
happiness, and they can't fulfill their life together. If that is the reason, I don't think that should be a reason for divorce because you're not happy because your happiness doesn't depend on somebody else. It
Exactly.
depends. Like, were you happy before? Then you get married. Then you got unhappy.
Yeah. Yeah.
If
Yeah.
then or were you just not happy at all?
Hmm.
And you shouldn't really depend based your happiness on somebody else. And you can do counseling. You can
Hmm.
do a lot of other things, but I don't think happiness, as you said, should be a reason for divorce.
And also, like, I think people have a huge misunderstanding on what outcome. What is the goal? Is happiness your goal, or is it joy? Because you can, like I said before, you can be happy from one moment to the next, but pure joy, that can only come from one place.
Yeah.
And as a believer, I say that you can only find joy, true joy, in Christ. So you find that first. You have joy in Him first, and then everything else kind of falls into place. Because I'm not gonna say, oh, I'm gonna be happy all the time, but I can be joyful,
Yeah.
even in hardships, even in cheating or abandonment. I'll still be joyful in my in the situation,
Hmm.
because
And grateful as well because
exactly.
there is a lot of people, not that you're supposed to look at other people,
Hmm.
but there's a lot of people that may want to be married because now she's gonna sign herself up to be a single mom with two. I think one of her babies are like a 2-year old and the other one is one. So
Yeah,
now, I mean, she have money, I guess,
yeah.
but is that enough? Just having money and now you're a single mom. Is she gonna be committed to staying by herself forever,
Yeah,
or is
yeah.
she gonna introduce like another man into her life
Because
and they're going?
what was she? I'm gonna be honest with you. I've never watched a single episode of the show, so I don't even know like what she does for a living or what he does for a living.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what he does for a living, but I know he's
He
like a
has, yeah,
multi-millionaire.
yeah. The most of those
And
people on that show, like, they
right,
have a lot of money before.
yeah,
Yeah.
and she married him. I think she was a waitress or something. I could
Oh.
be wrong,
Okay.
but
Okay.
she wasn't a millionaire,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and she married him, and then
That's how she. Yeah. She come.
she
Yeah.
came up.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, she did her time, I guess.
8 years,
8 years, two
right?
kids.
Yeah.
Um, Not saying that she should leave him.
Yeah.
We don't know the whole reason,
Yeah. Yeah.
but She stayed there longer than many.
Yeah, exactly. But I think it's gonna be tough. Like like I said, I've never watched the show, so I don't know like her background and what she did before even waitressing. But what are you gonna be expecting once you're done? Like you shouldn't stay in a situation if the person, like I told you the two reasons. However, you have to also think about your you have to set yourself up. Like
And the kids. My
man,
concern is the kids,
yeah.
and I don't know the exact figures, but I know that oftentimes when someone gets divorced and the women are left with the kids and they introduce like another guy,
Hmm.
like that's not his kids. So,
Yeah.
there's like a tendency for like abuse there of the
Yeah,
kids.
yeah.
So,
Tension. There's a lot of tension.
yeah,
It could be a lot of tension.
you know,
I think
so
that's one of the greatest things that single mothers have to look out for when it comes to remarriage. Like, not even just remarriage, but being in a relationship as a whole. Like, being in a relationship with another person and you already have a child. Like, that's something that they have to look out for, you know?
yeah, because with marriage, when you have no kids before marriage,
Mm-hmm.
you have to put your partner first. As a
Yeah.
single mom, oftentimes they're gonna be like, I'm gonna have to put my kids first, and so
Yeah.
that got that's a different.
That's a whole nother
That yeah,
topic there.
we'll talk about that a
Yeah.
different day,
Yeah.
but you have to also consider that too. Like, are you gonna put your husband first or
Yeah.
your kids first?
I mean,
But that's a different.
yeah. Spoiler alert, though. Spoiler alert. You have to put your husband first. We're gonna talk more about that another time, but that's definitely gonna be a challenging thing. Um,
So this
but
was a nice topic.
yeah, it was a nice little talk. I think purpose of marriage, number one, definitely would have to be kingdom building and procreation. Like how you gonna upbuild God's kingdom here on earth? It's procreation. You have to produce.
Be
Now, does
fruitful
that
and
be for
multiply.
exactly? Now, not everybody is going to be able to have their own children. However, adoption and all those things are available. But like I said before, I think that is the number one reason for marriage. So if like my understanding of the outcome of all of this is basically when you have a greater understanding of marriage with its purpose and its function, and not putting yourself into the center of it, and not saying, it's ultimately about how I feel and how I should be. Once you don't put yourself and understand the greater value of the purpose of marriage itself, then you understand it's not all about you, and it makes it more of a greater reason to stay together rather than just leaving because of that feeling that you may have.
Yeah, because it's easier to leave.
Hmm.
It's easy to
Exactly.
quit.
Exactly.
It's harder to stay.
Exactly. I'm a huge proponent of counseling. Go
Definitely.
to counseling.
Premarital counseling.
Premarital and
I,
marital counseling.
yeah, I think setting up the fundamentals
Hmm.
before you get married. I
Exactly.
think a lot of people I think a lot of people rush into marriage
Hmm.
without setting up the foundations, the
Exactly.
fundamentals. So I think that's very important to set up the foundation first. Build your house not on sand, but on
Exactly.
solid rocks.
Solid rock.
Solid rock is
Amen. Amen.
Jesus.
Amen to
and
that.
and go from there.
Yeah, because it's like you said, it's much easier to leave. It's really easy to leave. People may think like, oh, it's not. No, it's very easy to leave because even though you may look at it as, oh, I have so much stuff I'm gonna have to deal with once we're divorced and all kind of thing. No, it's much easier to say I'm done, I quit, I give up. That's on anything in life, really.
True.
So
So
yeah,
the
man.
key takeaway points are for
Basically,
you.
to me, have a better understanding of what marriage is, its purpose and its function, and fight, fight to stay together. I mean, I gave you the two reasons, like we talked about, the adultery and abandonment. Those are reasons. You definitely don't want to be in those situations.
And my key takeaway is it's Similar to yours. My key takeaway is it's easy to leave and it's harder to stay. Do the foundational work before you get married. While you're in a marriage, you definitely continue to work on it, continue to date each other, continue to try to love on each other, continue to do the things that you started doing in the beginning to get the person. Try just as hard to keep the person.
Exactly.
And that's all we have for now.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned. We have more things coming up, so just make sure you stay tuned. Like this video, share, subscribe, and we out.
And have a blessed day.
Yeah, we out.
For more content like this, like and subscribe.
Subscribe.